Hi, this is Kris with bestlightroomtraining.com, and today we're going to continue on with our series of podcast video tutorials in Adobe Lightroom talking about editing blue sky portraits. A few days ago I posted a tutorial using the saturation luminance controls and then a little bit of noise reduction, and that was the senior guy who was on some railroad tracks with a bridge in the background. So if you haven't seen that video, go back and take a look at it. That's just one of several things that you need in your bag of tricks when you're editing blue sky images. And today we're going to talk about yet another one, and we have another couple of images that we'll do on one or two more podcasts to show you some other techniques as well. And they're all kind of different. It depends on the image, which tool you'll grab first. So hopefully this gives you some ideas and some different things that you can use, so it's not just one thing that you reach for, and if it doesn't work, then you're just stuck. So if you have 3 or 4 tools in your bag of tricks, then you have some different ways to enhance things depending on the image. So the one that we're looking at today, blue sky, and he has on a blue shirt and blue jeans, very much next to the sky or right in front of the sky in the background. So the first thing that a lot of people would grab would be the local adjustment brush with decreased exposure with a big brush and just kind of start brushing around. Or they would take it over to Photoshop and think that they have to go into masking and all this other stuff, which takes way too long in my opinion. So one of the things that we're going to use today is we are going to use the local adjustment brush, but I'm going to show you a little different way of using it, and we're going to talk about auto mask. If you've never used auto mask, it is pretty slick. So here's our local adjustment brush, and let's go maybe minus 0.5. And if I did not use the auto mask, let me show you what would happen. So this is kind of the way what most people would grab as far as a tool. And you'll think, oh, I don't want to get too close to the subject, so I'm just going to brush but not up real close to them. And you think that that fixes the problem, but then you're like, well, that sky's not so dark, so I'm going to take it down some more. And look, all of a sudden he has this digital halo going on, and it just screams fake, 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 fake. So we don't want to have that. So let me show you how you can not end up with that fake digital halo, giving it away that you edited the image afterward to help enhance that sky. Okay? So let's do this. Let's step back and take off all those brush strokes. Okay, now we're back where we started. We have a sharpened image that's had a teeny bit of fill light, and let's go back and use the auto mask this time. And I'm even going to bump up the and take it to like maybe I think it says minus 0.78. All right, we'll see how we work with that. Now, with the auto mask turned on, the auto mask is kind of like, what's exactly what it says. It's an automatic mask effect. So it's going to look for areas of contrast in the image as you're brushing over an area, and it's going to try to stay off of those areas, and it works surprisingly well. Wait till I get a couple podcasts down the road, and I'm going to show you some skin softening techniques in Lightroom that honestly I've never seen another Lightroom instructor cover. Maybe they have and I've just missed it out there. But this auto mask with skin softening, and especially if you use a light effect and then you layer it up over a couple of times, it's wonderful. It stays off of eyebrows, eyelashes, hair coming in on the sides, lips, teeth, all kinds of things, and yet it stays right on the skin. So it does a fantastic job. I can't wait to show you that. So that'll be coming up here in maybe 3 or 4 podcasts down the road. Okay, so here we go with the auto mask turned on for the sky, and I notice I have a great big brush, okay? And normally you would really shy away from using that great big brush and going right up to the subject because you're worried about getting the brush effect on the subject, and rightly so. But with the auto mask turned on, look what happens. Let me hit O for overlay and show you where I just brushed. Look at that. It stayed off the blue shirt. Now I did get down here a teeny bit below his right hand in his pocket, camera left there. But right up here around his face, it's completely cleanly masked off. It's amazing. It's like some kind of digital voodoo. It's wonderful. So I highly recommend using the auto mask when you use the local adjustment brush, especially, you know, if you want to brush a sky in the background and you want to stay off the subject. This is fantastic for blue sky portraits, but think about this scenario. Now, I don't have an image pulled up to demonstrate this right at the moment, but let's say you do a sunset image of a bride and groom, and you run outside and you're only there for, you know, 3-4 minutes, and then you take them back into the reception party. And there's maybe some woods in the background, and then you've got the sunset, and let's say it's not such a spectacular sunset, but it's something, okay? And you do your best to underexpose the ambient, maybe pop a little off-camera flash, but the sunset is still a little lackluster. You can use this technique to brush all around, enhance maybe a little bit of saturation, a little bit of decreased exposure. You can use that auto mask to stay off the couple in the foreground and brush that background, stay off of the couple, stay off of the tree line, and still enhance that sky with saturation and decrease exposure, and really pop a weak sunset into something that's very, very nice. So don't just think of it as a blue sky technique, but think about sunsets and some twilight type of images, and how you might be able to use this technique for that as well. Auto mask is really, really wonderful, and you should definitely give it a try. Maybe experiment if you have some originals in your archives that you can think of. Oh yeah, that wedding 2 years ago that had the kind of blah sunset. Go back and pull that image and have a look at it in Lightroom and play around with this effect a little bit and see what you think. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised that it's able to do quite a bit for you. So one more time, I'm just going to do this very fast. I'll usually do the technique kind of slow to go through it and show you and very much explain why I'm doing what I'm doing the first time through, and then I'll show you in real time afterward. So let's go back, and just going to go back to my last basic edit. And now I'm just going to do it in real time. So what you would do is reach for the local adjustment brush, and you need to set it to exposure, decrease exposure, and choose whatever value you want, maybe around -0.7 or so, maybe less, maybe more, depending on what you need. And I'm actually going to make this into a custom brush and choose increase saturation a little bit, maybe +20. And use that as well. So now I'm just going to start brushing, and again, my auto mask, real quick, let me just jump over here and show you. Auto mask is turned on. So I'm just brushing away very, very quickly. You don't have to have a Wacom pen tablet to do this. You could even do it with a mouse. So if you don't have a Wacom pen tablet just yet, don't worry. You can still do this with the mouse and be very, very exact. Now, I highly recommend the Wacom pen tablets. Are pretty fabulous. But, and see, I even got down into here, but that's not that big of a deal. I'll even brush there. It's going to increase saturation a little bit. That's okay. But look at that. I stayed off of him up here around the sky. That's the important part. And if I wanted to, I could hit New, and I could hit it again up here in the sky. Now that's a little bit much, so I am going to back it off in the sliders over here. I don't want to end up with that dreaded digital halo. Real light effect on the second time brushing through. So there we go. So let's do this. Let's show before and after. Clicking there, and then I'll show them side by side. Before, after, and it's just this little light switch type of effect at the bottom, which is really handy for a quick before and after. And then we'll do a quick left-right split. And you can see my first image was underexposed. My flash one flash wasn't enough power, and I didn't want to mess around with metering again and changing settings. So as long as I got enough color in the sky, I knew I could edit it afterward. And hey, sometimes you're in a hurry during your session. You have 3 or 4 other places to go, and yeah, I know that sounds like an excuse, but it's reality. You know, it doesn't happen to me real often, but it does happen on occasion, and I'll be honest and tell you. So I was trying to underexpose the ambient and pop some off-camera flash, and Sometimes I just need a little hand in post-production afterward. I should have brought more than one flash out with me from the vehicle, but we were far enough from the vehicle walking to get to this location that it would have really messed us up on time to get to all the different locations we wanted to go to had I gone back for a second flash, second light stand, or a dual flash adapter on top of the light stand and mess with setting everything back up. So live and learn. But it happens, and you need to have some tools in your bag of tricks to deal with that when those occasions creep up in your sessions. So last time we did saturation and luminance, and then we went down and we did some noise reduction. That was the same senior guy on the railroad tracks with a bridge in the background. So take a look at that video. That was the last one before this one. And then today we were just down at the end of an old railroad bridge that's closed. It's now just a footbridge with the city in the background, which is kind of fun. And then the next video that we do for you, we're going to talk about using gradients to enhance blue skies. So hopefully this was helpful for you. If you have any questions, you can always email us at bestlightroomtraining@gmail.com, or you can stop by the Facebook page at facebook.com/bestlightroomtraining. And as always, stop by and check out the online store. We have classes, Lightroom 101, Lightroom 201, and then we have one-on-one individual training for studios that have a little bit more advanced needs, or they have a little bit different situation than other studios. Maybe they have a unique situation with a husband and wife team, or they have an assistant photographer in training and they want to know how to sort the images between the two cameras. They want to talk about backup and archiving and that sort of thing. So anything from an absolute newbie with the Lightroom 101 to Lightroom 201 if you've been using it a while but you need to use it more efficiently, to Lightroom one-on-one training. We also offer a variety of presets, templates, educational videos. In the presets, you really should check out our beauty brushes and our workflow engine preset system, which saves immediately about 50% off your workflow time. And once you get comfortable with using it, it saves up to 80-90% off your previous workflow process time-wise. So definitely worth checking out the workflow engine preset system. And I'll probably do a little promo for that as a part of one of these podcasts here, not too far into the future, and just show you a little bit of what it's about. But definitely stop by the store at bestlightroomtraining.com. We'd love to have you stop by and have a look around. Once again, this is Kris Gay with Bella Vita Studios and bestlightroomtraining.com. Thanks for having a look at the video.